Hi, Linda Bowen here from stampingwithlynda.com, your cardiologist since 1997, helping you create cards from the heart. Today is a create a fold video, and I am not doing a card. I am going to show you how to make this adorable gusset bag, and it's made out of a piece of 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. I'm going to bring in a scrap piece of paper. Now this is the heavy white cardstock, and what I used was the beautiful Blooms and Wishes stamp set. This, I know, another flower set, but these flowers are just beautiful. And so they are what I used to create my paper. So it's a great way for you to make your paper. Doesn't have to be designer series paper to make this bag. In fact, I recommend not to use the designer series paper. I like the heavier paper, and that's why I picked the heavy Whisper White. So let's go ahead and stamp it. I'm going to take my Dapper Denim, and I see I have acquired a little piece of paper on there. I don't know where that came from. Anyways, when you do a random stamping like this for a background, I find it best to think triangle. So I'm stamping up and then stamping down, up and down. Now I am using more space in between because I have a lot of flowers to go in here. So it's always best to start with your boldest, biggest stamp, and then work from there. So the next one, I'm going to use that Sweet Sugar Plum and that Little Daisy, and I am going to then still think about triangle. So boom, boom, boom. But maybe not as uniform as the original triangle, but still, it just helps me fill in that paper. And again, the thing you want to think about is using that biggest flower first, because the smaller ones you can fill in. So now I'm using that Flirty Flamingo. So in love with these new in colors. Now you can overlap your flowers. If they go on top of each other, it is perfectly fine. So I've got that. Then I'm going to bring in my Peekaboo Peach and the smaller flower, and I'm just gonna randomly stamp. Now I'm not going so much. Love, love, love that photopolymer. Now I don't know if I got it. Yes, I did. It allows you to go back over if you make a mistake. Now I'm not stamping in the triangle mode. I am, oops, I missed that one too. Go back in there. I'm just filling in wherever there's open spaces. So I started with the triangle mode and then just basically filled in. Next, what I'm going to do, I see I only brought one of the leaves over. So we will just run with that. Oh, here's the other one. So I'm going to use that emerald green. And again, no rhyme, no reason. I see my ink pads are very juicy today. Live in beautiful Northeast Ohio, and it is hot, hot, hot today. So consequently, my pads are very juicy from the humidity. And even my rings, I can't even get my rings on when it's so hot and humid. My fingers swell, but that is summer. And I think I love the hot, humid weather versus the snow. Not positive on that. Snow is pretty. So anyways, I've got my collage paper done. So I'm going to close up some of the ink pads. Almost said newspapers. And then I'm going to be ready to score that piece of paper. So I'm going to bring in my personal trimmer. I'm going to bring out the arm, and I'm going to be scoring along that 11-inch side of my paper. The first mark is at the 2-inch, and I want to run that scoring blade back and forth a couple times. Again, this is the heavy Whisper White cardstock, so in love with it, but it takes a little more to score it. So I did 2 inches, 5 inches, now I'm doing 7, and finally 10, and then I'm going to turn it over, and on one long end I am going to score at the 1.5 inches, and flip that over, and then I'm going to score at the 2-inch. Excuse me. You want to get your bone folder and really work those score lines back and forth very well, because again, the heavy cardstock. And then I am just going to bring in one that I have already cut and scored for you to see, but I want to give you a tip about scoring, or excuse me, cutting when you have score lines. And I'm looking for my scissors here, my little snips. On the 1.5 inch side, we're going to cut out for our bottom of our box. Here is our score line. You want to cut on both sides of that score line. So you simply want to cut that score line right out. So you have a little sliver. That gives you open space so that when you turn it, glue it together, you don't have any bulkiness. So let me bring in the piece I have already cut. In fact, I'm going to bring in a template so that you may be able to see it better. So this is the short end. You have the short piece. That is the piece that you we're going to add our adhesive to. The 2-inch score line is up at the top. So on the short score line, you are going to cut at an angle. You're going to go past that first score line and then cut at an angle on both ends. So it's the 2-inch score is here, the 1.5 inch is here, and that is your flap for you to glue it. Then you're going to leave on this big piece, and you're going to cut out all of that. Again, this is on the 2-inch side. The bottom, you're just going to cut the score lines so that you can fold your box in. I'm going to bring in tear and tape, and again, on that short piece, I cut it at an angle, again, so that it makes it easy for that flap. So we're just going to take our tear and tape, and then we're going to remove that. And then when you go to glue this box together, all you need to do is to fold over. Let me pull that off. There it goes. So you want to take your box just like so and fold this over. Then that way you're going to get a nice seal. So we've got that. Again, this is my 2-inch flap. These will fold in. You're going to put your press and seal or your tear and tape on that. And then this just becomes your gusset. So you just kind of fold the ends in like so. And I used a hole punch to punch. And that is how I got my ribbon. So there you have it, a creative fold to make a gusset bag out of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Thanks for joining me. Talk to you real soon.